Welcome back into Quarantine Conversations with the CDGA. This is Casey Richards from the communication staff, and we have a very special guest today coming to us from Arizona, two-time PGA Tour winner Kevin Streelman, also a native of Winfield. Kevin, thank you very much for taking the time to join us today.
Oh, my pleasure, Casey. Enjoyed being able to do it. Got some time on my hands.
Yeah, absolutely, and everybody seems to be in the same situation these days. So what have you been up to over the last few weeks without any, competitive golf to play?
I live out in Scottsdale, Arizona. I moved out here after I graduated college in about 2001 and just fell in love with the area. I met Courtney out here. We really have been out here close to the last 20 years. So we're fortunate this time of year. The weather is beautiful. It's high 70s, low 80s. Most of the golf courses are still open, so I'm able to sneak away and get a little golf in. But to be really honest, it's been pretty sweet family time, with a 4-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl. We're going to look back, and I know there's times where we want to pull our hairs out, and they're driving each other crazy. But in reality, this is time where I'm usually gone. And with my daughter starting kindergarten, they haven't been traveling with me as much. So that's been the hardest part of this year on me, has been the fact that I've been on the road much more by myself than I have in the past. And so to be able to be home with them, help them with school, and cooking out dinners each night and being together has been special family time. Obviously, there's more important things going on, and we got to look out for loved ones and older ones. We got to figure out how we can slow this down and stop it. But it just puts everything, I'd say it puts life in perspective. It puts golf in perspective. And I think it's important for us all to learn not only, that our families, but as a society of, where our values need to lie.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. So, it's coming up on about a month now, since that one round of the Players' Championship before action on the PGA Tour shut down. A little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, though, when the tour and the various governing bodies recently kind of came out with a revamped schedule for the rest of 2020. What were some of your initial reactions when you saw that, and how things might play out for the rest of the year?
The hope and encouragement was definitely there. I'm on the Player Advisory Council, so I've been privy to a few meetings where we've talked about schedule. We're really hoping to get started at Colonial in 6 weeks. If that is that realistic or not, these next few weeks will tell us a lot. I sure hope we can. The plan is if we can start there, that we'll have a normal FedEx season and in Chicago. Obviously, the top 70 at BMW has been paramount in the back of my mind, and want to make sure I do all I can to get there. And really hoping that all these tournaments can occur. I think it's encouraging to hear that there's actually dates set, to know people in Augusta are very happy. And it's just, I think if it all pans out the way the schedule looks right now, it's going to be incredibly exciting time for sports. I mean, you think of all these events, huge events packed in a tight window, let alone all the football that's going to be going on, the baseball that's going to be going on. Like, it's going to be epic, to be honest. So
yeah,
it'll be fun to be a part of that. And I hope we can get rocking by midsummer, end of summer.
Absolutely. So circling back to the beginning, mentioned that you're a Winfield native. You talked about how you went to Duke and then moved out to Arizona, but obviously grew up in the Chicagoland area and began your golf career here, playing in lots of Illinois Junior Golf Association events and everything like that. So when you reflect back to your youth and growing up in the western suburbs, what are some of your fondest memories of playing competitive golf in the Chicago area?
Well, first of all, I was born at CDH in Winfield, but I was raised in Wheaton, Illinois, baby. Wheaton South. I went to Hubble Middle School. I grew up a mile from Chicago Golf Club. So I grew up caddying at Chicago Golf Club when I was like 11, 12 years old. We'd ride our bikes there and sit there, and you'd make $11 or something, and it's where I learned to walk a golf course. I was very fortunate about this time where I got into golf. I was like 11, 12 years old. That Cantini opened. Cantini was about a mile and a half the other way, so I could ride my bike there as well. And I was literally there the opening day of Cantini. And to this day, it's just like a very special place in my past, in my heart. My parents played there for years and years till they moved to North Carolina a few years ago. It's where I learned the game. That on top of Arrowhead Golf Club. Arrowhead was one of the best public park district courses in the entire suburbs. And so to have all these courses so close to me was really meaningful to me. And it's where I learned the game. And we never had enough money to be members at a private club. We would play wherever I had junior events that next week. I did a full IJGA, CDGA schedule. They were incredibly important to me, learning to play competitive golf, learning how to travel. My mom and I would travel the whole state, each summer trying to get into what we can, and just slowly got a little bit better. I just would play a few more tournaments the next year, and I would, finally started winning some and started shooting the low 70s and then touching the 60s a little bit, and then got some college recognition and was fortunate to have a great senior year at Wheaton South, and then was able to go to Duke University on a half scholarship. But man, it'll always be home to me. I've been fortunate enough, Vince and the great team, Jeff Lukihans at Black Sheep, gave me an honorary membership there. When I was on the mini tours, I had nothing. They let me practice out of there, and I've never forgotten that. That's always meant a lot to me. Great Western private club out there, and just past Aurora. And so I just love getting back home. I love taking my children there. I'm a huge Cubs fan. I'm a huge Bears fan. I just released on Twitter a new video. I was doing some instructional videos making fun of Brian Urlacher and his golf swing. And I've been able to play with him a lot. And it's just, to me, the greatest game in the world. I've been so blessed and so fortunate. And now, man, it's 13th, 14th year on the PGA Tour, and I'm gonna do it as long as I can. So we're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned the Cubs. I know in talking with you before we started this interview that a lot of times when the players are down there for spring training in Arizona, you'll be able to hit the links with them. So any players on the current team who can really flex their mic golfing wise?
Yeah, I tell you, I've been fortunate to play with a few of them, and probably mostly with Lester. John is a huge golfer. He's very addicted to it. I get about, I'd say 2 to 3 golf swings a week of his that he's trying to get some video analysis of what's going on in his golf swing. And honestly, it's like, he's got an incredible golf swing. It's so athletic, and he's big lefty. Obviously, he gets up and just rips the ball way farther than I could, but I hit it a lot straighter than him, fortunately, because it can go both ways very quickly. But he's a great dude. Ian Happ loves his golf as well. And Schwarbs murders the golf ball. He has no idea where it's going either, but I mean, he's got some serious club head speed. I mean, I know Scott Piercy played with Chris Bryant. I haven't played with Chris yet, but and Rizzo, he played the Phoenix Open Wednesday Pro-Am last year, and everyone had a great time with him. So I mean, just great guys, most importantly, and what they've done for our city and what they did in 2016, man, it's just like, it's legendary. So it's fun to get out. And we're fortunate to live 20 minutes from where Sloan Park is, where their spring training is. So we always go to opening day, and unfortunately, about halfway through it this year, it got called. But we'll be back next year and sporting our Cubbies again.
Absolutely. Now, kind of furthering your ties to the Chicagoland area, obviously you have a very strong relationship with Wilson, a Chicago-based company. Yeah. So how did that first come about, and how does the fact that, you're a Chicago native and they're a Chicago company play into the strength of that relationship? Yeah,
well, it's awesome, to be honest. They have been so much fun to work with. They are it's a small team. We all say it's more of a family. It really is. Like they listen to our input. They listen to our design ideas. I mean, Padraig's wedge ideas, some things I've thought about in the irons. We thinned out top lines, gave a little more camber to the sole. Like to me, I enjoy that, and I take pride in it, because those are that's the hat I'm wearing. These are the bag I wear. It's the clubs I play and try and compete against the best players in the world with. So I take a lot of pride and a lot of influence on that, and I it's not something I take lightly. So that on top of it, it's a good Midwestern value, good Midwestern people, which is paramount to me. We have contracts, but a lot of times it's handshakes, and we look each other in the eye. And Tim Clark and I have become dear friends, and I go to dinners with him because I enjoy going to dinners with him. It's not because I feel like I have to, because he's my sponsor. And that's the difference with Wilson. And I'm proud to be an ambassador, and I plan to be the rest of my professional career.
Very nice. So kind of take us through, where you felt you were at in your 2019-2020 season up to this point.
Yeah.
Obviously, maybe one of the highlights for you, a strong showing at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, winning the Pro-Am portion with your partner, Larry Fitzgerald, for the second time, which puts you guys in rare company. So how did that victory kind of play into where you felt this season was playing out for you before we hit this pause?
It was an interesting year. I looked back. I think we went from top 70 to 65 in ties in the cut this year, and I think I at least 4, maybe 5 times have missed the cut between that T65 and T70 spot. So I've been a little frustrated on that regard. But in the fall, I played awesome at Jackson. I threw like a 63 or 64 at Sunday and almost won that tournament. And then went over to Korea and Tokyo and played awesome in Korea, or eagled last to finish, I think, 11th or 12th or something like that. And then didn't play as well in Tokyo, but I was happy with my fall. I was in like 50th in FedEx after the fall was over. And then, Pebble Beach is always my favorite event of the year. I love that golf course. I know how to play it. I know what angles you can take, what angles you can't take, what pins you can go at, which pins you can't. And it's a thinker's golf course that you have to be very respectful of going around it. And I just love it. And same kind of deal there. Sunday, I got it going. Got off to a nice start. I eagled 6 and birdied 7 and 10. And all of a sudden, I was getting up there. It's just one of those moments where, I talk to kids a lot, especially competing kids that want to like see what they got in competition. There's moments in competition where you can either kind of try and hold on to where you're at. Things are going well. Let's hold on. Let's maybe just try and lag up there for birdies, or you can go. Like, you're going to go and try and win this thing. And that's a different type of mentality. And some people have it and some people don't. And I'm not saying I have it all the time by any means, because I definitely more often than not probably lean the other direction. But I did say, you know what, I'm in pretty good FedEx. It's early in the year. Let's friggin' attack this thing. And the putt started falling. I kept making birdies. Birdie in 14 was huge, and then made one on 15. And then I hit an incredible shot on 17. And all of a sudden, I'm like, man, we can still win this golf tournament. And unfortunately, I had a good putt on 18. It stayed out. And then Nick ended up chipping in at 15 and 17 and held on to win. But I was very happy Phil did not get that little up and down on 18 to tie me for second. So going from solo second to T second was a big difference in the paycheck. So I was very happy that Phil made par in the last for him. But besides that, to jump up into, I think I'm like 36 right now in FedEx. So that was a great jump. And I was feeling great going into the major season in the summer, and all this happened. So just kind of reevaluate, try and keep my body in good health and flexible and just kind of feel out when we're ready to go again. But I'll be ready when we need to.
Yeah. You alluded to it at the beginning of the interview. How much of a motivating factor is it for you to be in that top 70 come late August, to be able to play at Olympia Fields in the BMW Championship in your hometown?
Yeah, it's huge. It's really, really important to me. I probably made too much of a deal about it last fall at Medina. I was 68th going into New York and missed the cut and fell to 74th or 75th and didn't get to go because the top 70 went to Medina. And I was devastated, to be honest. Really ticked me off. I tried my best, but I just didn't play well at the end of the season there and fell out. And I really wanted to be there. So this year, I'm gonna do my best. I promise that, but it is on my radar. I'll say that for sure.
Cool. We'll certainly be looking forward to following you once play gets back underway, and hopefully seeing you at Olympia Fields at the end of August. As we wrap things up here, I know you were kind of showing me before we started. Can you take us on a little tour of your man cave you've got down here?
So what's kind of cool is we have a basement. There aren't many basements in Phoenix, but as soon as we took a look in the house, I got my irons out and my woods. I was like, man, can I put a hitting bay down here? So ended up creating this, and this has been really fun. I did a putting green down here that actually, these dream greens have slope, so I can kind of put different types of bend, left edge, right edge, whatever I want to in the green. I can hit up to about a 14-foot putt right here. So that's been really cool. I've got some fun Duke memories, some Cubbies stuff. That's a Chicago area golf magazine from 2010. This was a cool gift from my old caddy, AJ. This was the shot I hit on Sunday at Tampa. This back right pin. I remember I had 196 pin and 188 over that corner. I hit a high cut 5-iron to about 8 feet, made the putt for birdie. But best shot of my life, to be honest, especially in those situations. Got a head cover collection here. Some really cool Scotty stuff, some bunch of swag stuff. I love swag putters and head covers based in Chicago. Probably a few too many, but my wife says I can have them. So this was an incredible gift from Travelers. A Coach K signed Duke jersey with 7 for the last 7 I birdied at Travelers, which was a very pleasant surprise that they gave me the year after that tournament in 2014. Some cool Hogan and Augusta stuff up there, and it's kind of some fun stuff. This was a plaque they put at Travelers starting on the 12th hole where I birdied the last 7. So they gave me a copy of that plaque, which was kind of special. This is the driver I wanted to use Tampa, and Ping did a gold plate on it for me after it cracked, actually the week after I won, which is kind of a crazy story. These are the tour gives you these if you win tournaments. So it's your actual 4 scorecards from the tournament. So this was Tampa. And this is Travelers, which is kind of cool with the last 7 there by Nick Watney was caddying for me. Shot 1 over on the front and 28 on the back with 10 straight 1-putts coming in. It's just crazy day. A few extra leftover putters and woods and tour bags, bunch of Scotties and swags back there. Obviously my hitting bay, and which pretty much has turned into the kids play area and our movie theater down here. But it's nice in the summer when it's really hot in Phoenix, come down to a basement where it's a little cool and actually feel like I can get in some work. So yeah, that's kind of it.
For sure. Well, Kevin, we really appreciate you taking the time, to chat with us, show us around your basement a little bit, and hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later that we see you back out on tour, and like we mentioned earlier, hopefully at the end of August we'll see you at Olympia Fields Country Club.
Yeah, it sounds great, Casey. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
See you guys.